Hi guys, it's New Jersey Garden. We just got a mulch delivery yesterday. We ordered 20 cubic yards, I believe, and we're gonna be applying it to a couple garden beds. Our main garden bed is this big front garden bed that is adjacent to our street. And what we do is we usually order mulch once every 3 years because it is expensive. And we put like 4 inches down. We put a heavy layer of mulch to keep moisture in and keep the weeds out. I'm also going to be edging the garden. I'm going to be using an edger tool, and I'll show you guys that. I have never used an edger before, so I'm excited to use it. But as you can see, the garden needs to be edged. So I'll be showing you that, and I'm looking forward to showing you the finished result. This area underneath this dogwood tree has a lot of forget-me-nots, which I will leave alone, but there's all these weeds under here, so I need to rip all that out before applying the mulch. So we'll take a look at it before. There's a bumblebee on a violet. We have a lot of these wild violets in the yard. So here is some of the progress. We're taking some of this dark brown mulch and applying it to the garden bed. We are using a wheelbarrow. My husband's helping me, but I have done a lot of this by myself in the past. So we're just shoveling the mulch onto the wheelbarrow and then dumping it into the garden bed and then spreading it around. It will take probably a few weekends to get this project completed. Today we stopped at a farm stand and I couldn't help myself. I love white hyacinths. So I got 2 containers. I'm going to plant them here. The deer will definitely stay away from hyacinths because they have a nice fragrance. So this is the little garden bed in front of our house. So I'll plant 1 bunch here. I got some tulips, which I will have to spray because the deer will eat the tulips. So I'm going to put some tulips here. There's 7 bulbs. I'll put some here and then some in the protected little side garden. So the deer will stay away from those. And then I'm going to plant the other container of hyacinths here. And you should never mulch too high up at the base of a tree. As you can see, this tree was damaged by having mulch put up a few inches at the base. So you always want to just mulch right just at the foot of the tree, not up the bark. So this is the weed that I've been dealing with. This was all underneath this tree. It's fairly easy to pull out. I just use this tool to kind of dig under it and pull it out. But I have a whole trash can full of weeds. A lot of it was dandelions and that weed that I just showed you. So here's another view of the garden before putting down the mulch. As you can see, I have some landscape fabric here. This area gets super weedy, and every spring we get these little minor bees. The soil is very sandy over here, and I just get so many weeds along the edge. So we edged it. My husband and I edged it with an edger, and I just put all this mulch in today for the last 2 hours, and then this area has to get mulched, and then over here are the peonies. Sorry for the shadowing, I'll come over here. So these are all the peonies. I think I have 9 or 10 plants over here. I planted a couple new peonies this spring. So it does look better with all the mulch. So as you can see, I've been making progress. I Did a little bit of mulching over here and over on the far end. So there's still a lot of mulch left. There is this huge pile of mulch that's still left, but I still have a lot more to mulch in a little side garden and right in front of the house. So we should use up most of this mulch. Here's a before video of before we mulch this area, and then I'll show you what it looks like after. Okay guys, so it's the end of April, it's April 22nd, and I really want to get these plants in the ground, but the nighttime temperatures are still pretty cool. Next week there's going to be 3 nights in the 30s, that's 30 Fahrenheit. So I have to wait to plant out my annuals until the nights are a little warmer, hopefully 2 more weeks. So this here is an annual, it's Nicotiana, and it's doing well, but it needs a little fertilizer. It's starting to turn a little yellow, so I'm going to bring this outside to harden off for a couple hours in the sun, and I will put a light amount of fertilizer in it. I will be using, what I use is a fish emulsion fertilizer, and I can show you that, but I'm going to be fertilizing this. In the back there is purple prairie coneflower, which was, it's a like a wildflower, and we'll see how that does. It's looking a little, the germination rate wasn't great on that one. Over here there's Culver's root, which is in the front. I did have to sprinkle this seed tray with cinnamon to try to prevent damping off, and I do think it helped. I did lose a couple seedlings, but because it was just too moist, the seed tray was just too moist, so the cinnamon definitely works for that. But the Culver's root just has grown really slowly from the beginning. I mean, it's a perennial, so perennials take a really long time to both to germinate and to grow. So this won't bloom this year, it'll bloom next year. And then in the back, that is a wild bergamot. And that looks like it's ready to go out. It's really getting too big for the seed trays. Over here, this is marigolds, and this is the second or third time where I've had failures growing marigolds. I don't know why I have such trouble growing marigolds, but these didn't work out. So I'll be buying marigolds at the garden center. And I do like to grow all my flowers from seed, so it is disappointing, but I'll try again next year. But I do like to plant marigolds in the vegetable garden because I've noticed when I do have the marigolds in the vegetable garden, the vegetables seem to do better. So I'm going to just buy some marigolds this season and try to plant these again next season. And then over here, I just watered from the bottom in this tray. I have a lot of tomato plants growing here and some bachelor buttons, which one of them looks like it's really struggling here. But back here I have 3 varieties of tomatoes, and I really want to get these in the ground soon. There's Prudence Purple in here, which is an heirloom. That one is the smallest out of all of them here. There's Brandywine, which is really looks like it's really healthy, and then there's an cherry tomato called Sun Gold in here. So I'll be planting those out. Hopefully the first week of May I can plant those out into the vegetable garden. So what I'm going to do right now is get a couple seed trays outside and plant those 3 seed packets that I just showed you. And so we'll get to doing that now. And I found these old seed packets in the basement, so I think I'm going to try to plant more bachelor's button and some aster and some Gloriosa daisy. The Gloriosa daisy did really well for me a few years ago when I planted it as a cut flower. And in general, I do love cut flowers. I like tall flowers. And I tried to sell some of my cut flowers at a farmer's market here in my town about 3 years ago. And I enjoyed the process of getting the flowers ready and packaging them up in the paper and setting up my stand. But then the disappointing thing was it seemed like it rained every single time I did the farmer's market. I was scheduled to do, I think 6 weekends, and it rained like 4 out of the 6 weekends or something like that. I also found that I didn't have quite enough flowers to do it every week. So I think I signed up for every other week, and that was more manageable. But I would like to just grow some more cut flowers and just see if any of the local farms would want to sell my flowers. I just don't know if I have enough to really make a lot of bouquets. So I'm going to see this year, what I can do and what I can put together. We live in the suburbs, but there's a bunch of farms west of where I live, and there's a couple farms in particular that I'm thinking of approaching and just, getting a couple bouquets together and just seeing if they want to sell bouquets this season. But like I said, I don't know if I have enough. I've been kind of like taking a mental inventory of what flowers I do have. I do have a lot of cut flowers, including peonies, but I just don't know, if I'd have enough bouquets to supply like more than one location. I've also thought about just selling them on I don't have a porch, but I have like a little side driveway, and I could set up a table and have people come and buy bouquets and just leave money on the table. I think the frustrating thing about the farmer's market is I would spend like 6 hours there, and it's a long time to be somewhere when you could be gardening during that time. So I'd prefer to just find a place where I could drop off the flowers and have that place sell them for me, even on a consignment basis. That way I could be working on my flowers and just enjoying my time in the garden or working on the garden, instead of just spending the entire Saturday or Sunday, at the farmer's market. So that's my plan for this season. And let's go down now to the basement and just see how the seedlings are doing.